Bobby Manning here. Welcome to Red Sox coverage here on CLNS Media here at Fenway Park, where the Red Sox won 6-2 over the Kansas City Royals. 7 straight wins for them in a season where they traded Rafael Devers, where the spring didn't look too good for them. It looked like they were on the verge of missing the playoffs for a 4th straight season, which would have been devastating. Already a lot of bad energy around this team, moving on from Devers after the Mookie Betts trade 5 years ago, and I, among others, lost belief in this team and this franchise, and here they are in playoff position and pushing the Toronto Blue Jays for first place. This win 6-2 over the Royals here pulls them 2.5 games back of the Blue Jays, barring their result here tonight. And the story of this one, Garrett Crochet, which is becoming one of the big stories of this season. 13 wins, 10 games, according to Red Sox PR here, where he's gone 7 or more innings. The 7th inning in this one, critical with a 3-1 lead. He gave up a run, put a guy on second, and with 1 out, Alex Cora, Bailey, they go to the mound and decide, all right, we're going to keep him in here, we're going to let him roll. And they let him roll, and he gets back-to-back strikeouts to end this game with 8. He hadn't had one in a couple innings up to that point. Started to throw some balls, started to put some runners on base for Kansas City here. And this was a pitcher's duel between him and Kansas City starter Ryan Berger here. And tight game for much of it. Definitely a game that could have gone back and forth if he wasn't able to get them out of that spot. But just nasty stuff for him in this. And this was my first time watching him here in person. A large stature, definitely has a presence on the mound. He retired the first 9 Kansas City batters in this game. And just some overwhelming stuff. 9 of his first 10 pitches in this game, 98 miles an hour. Blew away Bobby Witt with a fastball early, 10-5 pitch at bat with a strikeout on him. And then got himself into some trouble midway through this game. Threw a tough 3-2 pitch to Witt in the second at bat that he tripled off the wall here. He ends up scoring to tie the game at 1-1 early. But the Red Sox offense picked them up. Great stuff from Romy Gonzalez tying this game by tagging up at first, which you never see, so a good base running play by him. And then Wilyer Abreu in the 6th inning against Berger. They bring in a lefty after changing. He walked Bregman. So they bring in a lefty reliever against Abreu. Sox stick with him, and he doubles it off the wall in that spot to keep the inning going. And then Trevor Story comes through behind him, knocks in 2 runs. Sox go up 3-1 in the 6th, knock Kansas City starter out of this game. And Abreu with 2 critical plays in the field as well. Up 3-1 in that next 7th inning. He catches a ball against that right field wall. I believe it was Salvador Perez who caught it tight. Abreu catching it tight against that wall. Barely able to keep it in the park. That would have been a game-tying home run off Crochet for Salvador Perez there, who's just tortured this Red Sox team going back years. I can't believe he's still in Kansas City doing his thing at this point. And then a critical play an inning later in that 7th to make an early out and keep, again, a ball in play that was tailing away from him fast there. So he makes a big play. David Hamilton had a big play in the field as well. Trevor Story almost made one as well. So Royals still threatening into that 7th inning there. Man on second. It would have been the tying run in that 7th inning there. And Crochet gets the back-to-back strikeouts here. Comes off the mound going crazy. And Alex Cora talked about how this is what he wanted when he came from Chicago to Boston in the offseason trade to finally bring an ace here to Boston.
I think the fans kind of understood where we were, right? And they stood up and the 2-strike clap, and they got very loud. And I mean, think about his season last year, as a team and for him, right? It was kind of up and down and, innings limit and all that stuff. And now this is what he wanted to do, just pitch. And we're going to let him do that.
So Weissert and Jordan Hicks end up slamming the door on Kansas City in the 8th and the 9th after the Red Sox had some insurance runs, get up to 6-2. And win another series here, taking the first 2 games against Kansas City. Some notes from this one: Roman Anthony misses a second straight game with the back tightness after saying he was definitely going to play tomorrow in the series finale. Alex Cora left the door open to some more rest for him ahead of an off day on Thursday, and that's how they're going to manage some of the starter rest down the stretch. Of course, Crochet was pushed back, got 8 days off before this start here, so he was fresh, gunning early, had a lot of energy behind his pitches in this game, controlled well, was sick off the plate, 3-2 fastball along the edge of the plate, got a strikeout at one point, one of his 8, and a really tough at bat. He almost had 3 strikeouts at one point in one of the early innings here. So he was fresh, he was ready to go, trying to keep Anthony in the same place. Doesn't seem like a severe injury. So he'll be back for the San Diego series at the very least, I'd imagine, to begin this weekend on a road trip. Now, Marcelo Meyer, who's been out a little while with the wrist, surgery was a possibility, he told the Boston Globe before this game here. But he's going with an anti-inflammatory shot instead. He did some fielding early in the afternoon here. Roman Anthony took batting practice. So Anthony should be back very shortly. For Marcelo Meyer, it's about how he responds to the shot over the next couple of days here. So he'll be out again tomorrow. This weekend, he's not going to travel to San Diego. So the best he's going to be able to do is early next week when it comes to his return there. Crochet, again, no plans to push back any of his other starts here. Down the stretch, he wants to build up, and a lot of his talk after this game was getting ready for October. Like, it's a given. Like, this team believes that they're going to be in the playoffs this year. It's tight. There's still little room for error against some of the wild card competition here, but the Red Sox are already starting to turn their vision toward the division here and being a lock in this postseason and trying to position themselves for a run here. It doesn't seem like there's any more doubt in their mind about whether they're going to be playing here in October. So for Crochet, the other starters, the other position players here, getting healthy and then ramping up for that postseason run, which they believe in at this point, they don't see an epic collapse coming like we've seen with this team over the last couple of years in August and September. They feel like they're going to be there, and there's a great confidence in this group. Crochet said that was there even early in the season when they were struggling. So it's great to watch. There was some real energy in here. Another sellout. That crowd in the first game of this series was the most fans in here since 2019. So Red Sox fans starting to pile back in here and believe a little bit. As far as me, I still think there's some holes, there's some uncertainty in this roster that I don't think they addressed at the trade deadline that has me questioning how sustainable this run's going to be here when maybe the bats cool off or they have to get into some of the deeper pitching rotation here. Dustin May, one of their 2 deadline additions, is going to make his debut here tomorrow in the series finale. So we'll see if the Red Sox did find an unsung talent who's going to be able to pad the pitching behind Crochet, Giolito, and Brian Bayo, who got the win in the opener of this series. So that's an important game tomorrow to see what he's made of, because there's a wide open gap at the 4 and the 5 spots in this rotation that need to be taken before the Red Sox, as they believe, play in the playoffs this October. And Dustin May is definitely a candidate to fill that after Tanner Houck, it was announced, is going to be down with Tommy John surgery for the rest of this year and into next year. So his role important down the stretch here. Crochet, epic, awesome game watching him here for the first time. And the Red Sox believe they're going to be playing in October, and I like the way those standings look behind me right now. It definitely feels different this time around. That was the mood around the clubhouse here between Willie Abreu and Trevor Story, who talked after this game. So they have to go and do it, and they're doing it right now. They're believing, and there definitely is a different energy inside Fenway Park this year compared to the last handful of years. It's starting to be more reminiscent of 2021, and of course, the Red Sox went to the ALCS that year, but fell short of what easily could have been a World Series appearance that year and something more. So in a wide open AL, Yankees flailing right now. Toronto, not an insurmountable threat in the AL East. I don't see anyone in the Central that looks overwhelming. And then out West, it's a pitching-heavy Mariners team that doesn't hit great. This league is wide open. So follow along with all our coverage for the stretch run. We're going to have more of it here from Fenway Park in August, in September, as well as into the playoffs here on Red Sox Clubhouse, so subscribe to the channel, subscribe over on CLNS Media for all our coverage, Patriots, Bruins, as well as Red Sox and Celtics here on CLNS Media. And I'm Bobby Manning from Fenway Park, where the Red Sox won 6-2 over the Kansas City Royals to take this series finale on Wednesday at 7 o'clock here with Dustin May on the mound making his Red Sox debut.